I have gotten several requests to update my video on Audacity. This is the free tool that I started using whenever I first started podcasting in 2018, and I used it for several years. And I've had many of you reach out and say, hey, Crystal, like, when are you going to update the Audacity tutorial? And I guess that day is today. So I'm going to go over some Audacity basics that you need to know to edit and record your podcast. So let's get right to it. Hey y'all, Crystal here today, and we are gonna jump right into it because we're gonna go to the computer and I'm gonna show you how I would use Audacity if I were using it for my podcast today. I'm gonna go through a few quick tutorials to update this video right here, which we have had so much success on. Y'all love this video, and so I wanted to just go through a few things that I've learned in other recording software that I think could be really helpful for you to know in Audacity. So let's go to the computer and I'm going to show you all the things. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and point out a few things that stand out immediately to me. So I just recently downloaded Audacity and I haven't customized any of this to my liking, which you can do if you did not know this. So what I like to do is, you see these little bars right here. If it has a bar, that means you can move it around and it doesn't have to stay exactly where it is right now. So what I like to do is kind of move things to where I would like to see them. Actually, that is okay because that's going to monitor my levels whenever I'm recording. Like when it gets really red, it means it's too loud. And then when it's green, it lets you know, hey, you're pretty good. That yellow is that middle ground where you're like, oh, you might be peaking out soon, so don't get much louder. This is always my problem. I'm always very, very loud. So just a little FYI, but you can move these around however you want to. So if you want to slide these around to go down here, I mean, there's just all kinds of different things you can do to customize the toolbars that you have up here at the top. But one thing that stands out to me immediately is my recording device. Now, this was something I always, why a sound check is so super important. You have to make sure the correct microphone is selected. This is actually my camera microphone, this beautiful camera right here. Hello. The microphone on here is not the equivalent of my podcast microphone. It does not sound as good. So I'm gonna make sure that my Focusrite is selected. That's my mixer that I use. And there we go. That's gonna sound so much better. Y'all, I've recorded on my laptop microphone, my webcam, and this could all be caught in a sound check. So if you're not doing regular sound checks when you record your podcast, I suggest doing that immediately. So this does not happen to you. It's real frustrating to record a 30-minute episode and it's messed up. Okay, this is fine. Let me see. I am just gonna record. Oh no, I'm gonna leave it at stereo. The speakers are fine. Those are the speakers I'm going to use. Okay, so we are good to go. So what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and start recording. Are you ready? Let's just go ahead and do this. Okay, so I am recording my podcast, and now you can see up here at the top, it's decent. Like we're hitting right in the green, a little bit in the yellow. But when I get red, I'm going to get loud for a second and you're going to see, oh, it's peeking out. It's getting red up here, but it's also peeking out right here. That means I either need to scoop back from my microphone or adjust the gain, like how loud my mic is. This will depend on whether you have a podcast mic like a Blue Yeti. If you do have that, you can control the gain and the knobs. This is a Rode Procaster and it's connected to a mixer. So I would have to adjust my gain on here, or like I said, or move back, whichever is going to work best for you. But as you can see, this is normally how I talk whenever I'm recording a podcast. So I'm okay. Maybe I would scoot back a little bit or adjust again, but it's fine. It's decent. Then I'm going to click stop. Now, so this is this is stereo recording. What happens if I change it to mono? I want you to see this. So now I'm just going to click here. It's going to continue where we left off, and I want to show you this. So let's go ahead and click start and see. Okay, so it broke it down to a second track down here. Now, there was a reason why I wanted to show you this. The top one means it's going to just play in like either the left ear or the right ear because it's on stereo, but the bottom one is just a mono track. So I wouldn't have to edit both. Like we don't have the top and the bottom split. Do you see the difference? Like it's just recording the one thing. So here, let me stop. And I don't want to get super technical, but I do want to show you this. One of my favorite tools for editing a podcast, I have realized, like I want to move this over here. Where can I drop it? Can I drop that there? I don't really like that as much. I like this one when it's up here by here. There we go. I love the zoom in and zoom out buttons. Like they're literally my favorite. They save my life. I know that sounds super dramatic. They will save your life whenever you're like, what is that noise? Or I need to cut out just this little bitty thing. Use the zoom in and zoom out buttons. They're lifesavers, I'm telling you. So here you can see where it's two? It's split, like, ooh, top and the bottom. This one is one. It is one. I recommend doing the mono. I definitely recommend doing the mono. And like I said, you can zoom in. So now you can see, ooh, like it's so close. And this is, I love this feature. I've always loved this feature. But do you see how I can't select this? I can't select this. Like it's kind of got this weird grab thing. But I watched a little bit of the Audacity like updates that they did. I can put my cursor here and I can push it and it grabs all that stuff and I can push it this way. And if I'm like, oh, I really don't want all that space, I can clip it. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. But because I don't want to use this one that was recorded in stereo, I'm just going to delete it and it's gone. It's gone. We don't need it. So let me zoom out just a little bit more. And then do you see how that little hand cursor thing, I'm going to grab it. I just click on it and I'm going to grab it to where it goes all the way back to the beginning. This is where I probably should have zoomed out more. And I'm going to take it all the way back. You won't do this when you record your podcast because you're not going to record multiple tracks to do demonstrations, but it just lets you know. Let's see. If I wanted to play this, I would just take my cursor all the way back. When you hit this one, it takes you back to 0.0. And if you hit this one, it takes you all the way to the end. This is more or less something that you would use if you're editing multiple tracks. Like there was 2 or 3 different people talking, or there was just a lot of different audio clips on here. But I typically just go all the way back to the beginning once I've edited something. And then if I want to hit play, I'm just going to hit play and we're going to see what happens. Start and see. Okay, so it broke it down to a second track down here. Okay, something I want to point out. If you are recording in the stereo format, so I wish I wouldn't have deleted the other thing. Here, let me go back. Let me undo all this because we're going to bring the other one back. I want to show you something. If I were to play this track. Okay, so I am recording. I know you can't hear all the back end, like maybe you can't hear the difference. Maybe you can. I don't know how it's going to record on the video because I always put all the videos to mono. But I want you to pay attention to right here where it has the left and the right, because you will see on the top is the only place where it's actually playing audio. The right has nothing bouncing back and forth. So let's come back to the beginning and I'm going to play it. Okay, so I am recording my podcast. Is nothing. But if we go down to this other one that's mixed to mono, you're going to see both of those. And see, okay, so it broke it down. So if you ever run into issues where you're like, man, I'm editing and I only hear it on the left side, this is why. You need to mix everything to a mono situation, or you just need to re-record the thing. Like, I mean, unfortunately, that's something that you have to do if you don't already have it mixed down. I don't know if I can take my stereo sound here and mix it down to mono within Audacity. That's something I'm gonna have to look at and I'll check back later. I didn't run into that issue before when I used it, but I did want to have that there. So let me go back, delete this again, and I'm gonna edit this like if this were gonna be my podcast episode. So I'm gonna grab it, drag it over here. What I like to do once it's complete, I want to add a new track because I typically import my audio. So I'm gonna go to File, Import. Okay, so this is the main theme of my podcast. So if you ever listen to my show, Proffitt Podcast, you should go check it out. Then you would know that I have like, welcome to the Proffitt Podcast. I'm going to move that down. Do you see this yellow line that's popping up? That means there we go. I'm aligning these two tracks next to each other. I do not like to edit my shows. Like I wouldn't want to try to, and I can't even do it. I can't even grab it. Like I will see people that try to edit everything and move everything down to one line. I don't like doing this because it leaves too much room for error, but I will have my regular track and then I have my main theme and then I could go and record here. Let's go over here and I want to start recording again, right? Uh-oh. Okay, so I'm recording again, and this would be the rest of my podcast, and I would keep talking. This is also assuming that you are just doing a solo episode and not an interview. Otherwise, you would just import all the audio, whether you got it from Squadcast or StreamYard or wherever you're recording your episode. Maybe it's in Zoom. You would take your MP3 or your WAV file and import it directly into Audacity, just like I imported the main theme of my podcast. So I'm just going to keep talking, and this is what it would look like. Again, you can see where it's not like going way out of the red, like it's good right there. So let me stop that, and then let's play it back. Okay, so I'm recording again, and this would be the rest of my podcast. So that's all good. That's a double check. Good. Now, if I wanted these to kind of play over each other where my music is ending, but then my audio is playing right as my music is ending, then I would drag this to where it would end. So let's get right to it, shall we? Okay, so I'm recording again, and actually, let me move it a little bit further down. I'm saving shortcut. So let's get right to it, shall we? So the music is fading out. Okay, so there we go. Recording again. And that's typically what I'll do. I'll have it to where this audio starts playing right at the end of the music. Like as the music is fading out, it's typically when my audio comes back in. And then down here, I always play music at the very end of my episodes. So I'm going to go back up to File, and I'm going to import my podcast music. Okay, so I imported my music, and you see it brings it all the way back to 0. So I'm going to have to drag it all the way to the end. So we're going to take it, we're going to drag it. I mean, this is like a 2-minute, not even a 2-minute episode, so it's fine. It can get a little cumbersome when it's like a 45-minute long episode. I know, I get it. But okay, here's the issue with music. Now, this one, my main theme, it's a pretty even kill. Like it's not too loud because of the way I created it. I know that it's not going to blow out someone's eardrum. But this music is loud. Like you can look at how I'm talking here and you can see like, oh, if she plays that, that's going to be loud. And what will typically happen is I have the music kind of fade into me talking and then it fades out. And I'm going to show you how to do this. But first, if you just want to have music steadily playing in the background, then you simply need to come over here and you need to work with the gain. That's what this is right here. So you can decide how loud or how quiet it's going to be in the background of your episodes. But let's go up here and I'm going to make sure this is selected. Do you see how it went from white? You see how these are grayed out? When it turns white, that means that specific track is selected. And you can actually see up here, like, okay, this is the section of the audio that is selected. So what I want to do is I want to go to effects. There we go. I was like, where did it go? I lost it for a second. Effects. Now, this is one of the only effects, y'all. I don't do a ton of effects. I never have. I don't like all these things. I don't know what half of them mean. Okay. So if you're like, Crystal, I don't know either. It's fine. It's totally fine. But what I do like is the adjustable fade. This is one I've always used. So I'll click on that. And what I like to do is the S curve up. And I'm going to show you what this does. So you can see what the audio track looks like. And then I'm going to click S curve up. And then I'm going to click OK. So are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. So now you can see where it's not as loud and it's slowly fading up to the full amount of the audio. And then the way that this music was composed, it automatically fades out. So I don't have to attach like a fade in here and a fade out there. I do this S curve up where it goes up like that. If you want to do the S curve down, it does the opposite thing. So what I will do is I will have this playing, and I already turned the gain down a little bit. I usually typically put it at -20 because I know that that's not going to be super loud, and it's like it's a good amount. And I know this because it's the number I've worked with forever.
Where it's not like going way out of the red. Like it's good right there.
So like you hear the music slowly fade in. And then it's like fading out. It's like hitting this note and then it's fading out and then it's done. So that is how I work with music whenever I'm importing it into an episode. So let's pretend just, because that's all we're doing here. We're just totally pretending because this is obviously not an actual episode. But if it were, and I were totally finished, this is pretty much what it would look like. I would have my introduction, which was, that's what this is right here. Then I would have my main theme. Then I would have the rest of my episode, which is what you see right here. And then I would have my music at the end. So I want to know, tell me in the comments what other types of tutorial you want to see me do with Audacity. I am going to show you how to export this here in a second, but I want you to tell me in the comments because there are so many other things that I can show you, but I want to know what your specific questions are because I think I'm going to do some editing, cutting, clipping, like all these different things, but I want to know what you're looking for. So tell me in the comments so I can make sure I'm creating a video that you specifically want, and you might even just get featured in an upcoming video. All right, so let's go back and finish this. I haven't saved it yet, so let's go and we save it. Okay, and this is letting you know, because I normally click like don't show me this again, but this is telling me, hey, by the way, this is an Audacity project. This is really important because even if I save this as is, I can't take this file and put it in BuzzSprout, which is my podcast host, which you should go try out. If you're looking for a podcast host, you can go to crystalproffitt.com/BuzzSprout. I've been using them since I started and I love them, but they don't take Audacity files. They don't take any kind of raw files. You have to convert this into an MP3 or a WAV, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But this is what this is. So if you're like, oh my God, I got a warning. What happened? What did I break? You didn't break anything. It's telling you go to the export. So I'm going to click, okay, don't show me that again. I got it. Now we are going to save it first. So test episode, that's what this is. And it's an Audacity file. Now, if we want to export it, we come up here, go to File, Export. You can decide whether you want to do a WAV or an MP3. I typically do a WAV. I think it's a higher quality audio file. So I click that. It's the test episode, WAV. Okay, it's fantastic. Save it. Your tracks will be mixed down and exported as one stereo file. Awesome. Great. Fantastic. You could decide if you want to put in the different meta tags that are here. I could say the Proffitt Podcast. This could be test episode 1. This could be, again, the Proffitt Podcast. Like this would literally show up. If you were in like a music player, it would have it. Let's call this episode 397. I don't know. It sounds good, right? It's 2022. genre. I could put podcast in here. Like you could put whatever information you want in here. And then I click OK. Now it's exporting it. And it's done. It's done, y'all. So I'm going to go find this file and we're going to play it real fast.
Broke it down to a second track down here.
A finished podcast episode. So let me know what other questions you have about Audacity, what other editing tips you would like to see on this channel. Please put them in the comments. But if you found today's video helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up and let us know. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not already, and check out these other videos right here, all about content creation and running your online business. And as always, remember, keep it up. We all have to start somewhere.